Hi everybody and welcome to Pit Stop. You want to know a little bit more about a superbike? Well, here's Yugi Kikuchi to tell us a little bit about Michael Taylors Kawasaki Superbike.
Yugi, this is an impressive looking machine. What defines a superbike?
Superbike is actually is well refined version. It's modified in all places, lots of places. It's a lot different from production motorcycles that you can buy, and well, it does start off from what you could actually purchase, and what happens is all the modifications, or most of it, is allowed, other than displacement factors. This is a superbike where you can change suspensions, you can change internal parts with stronger things and suspension parts, and of course you could use different tire compounds which are not street legal. It's a slicks and you know rain tires and so forth. So it's all around. It's a different kind of bike that's highly capable of doing a lot of big performance anyways.
All right, so you mentioned the suspension, so let's talk for a moment about that versus a stock suspension. What's this equipped with?
Okay, this is an aftermarket performance suspension that we replaced from a stock one. It is basically more capable of more adjustments and
where is it on this thing?
Okay, the rear suspension part here starts from here to here, up the top here, for the movement of this swing arm, which is the rear part of the suspension.
And this is the monoshock?
Yes, it's a monoshock. And this is called the reservoir, okay, which is part of the suspension. It contains gas, highly pressured. And with these dials on the bottom dials, we can control the dampening rate, the shock rate, how stiff you want it, how soft you want it, and dial into the track accordingly to make adjustments to actually make it perform better.
Is there a lot of critical stuff when it comes to the shocks with these cars and or these bikes and setting them up? I'm used to cars.
Yes, these suspensions now are very complicated, and unless you really know how to adjust it and which way to go, you could be in a lot of trouble. You could make it go a lot worse, and a lot of times, of course, will be a lot slower.
What about the front suspension then? Anything different about that?
More the same. Front suspension. There's two of them, of course, because the fork and. But the front suspension does the steering and the suspension work at the same time, so it's more complex. It's more finicky that way, and it usually has more adjustments than the rear.
What about the braking system?
Braking system is usually we try to go as big as we could possibly have because we want maximum braking, and there are some rules about carbon, different kind of compounds of the brakes that we used to use that we can't use anymore. But we try to have the best one that perform the best without having so much weight factor, because weight is a factor.
And I'll bet you don't use the engine that I use on my bike.
Well, it all starts off like that, but it's a little bit different from what you got.
All right. It's a pretty hot-looking machine. Thank you. What does it take to set it up, handling-wise?
Handling-wise, see, I usually don't get to see most part of the track, so I will get the feedback from the rider. I will question him as to where it's doing, bouncing around, or where is it not handling right. And accordingly, I would make adjustments and get him out there and see if it made any difference.
What do you play with? Tire pressure? How do you set this up?
Okay, tire pressures definitely up on top and the bottom of the suspension. I could find adjustments here for the dampening. Okay, by going back and forth on these screws, I could make the suspension travel move slower or quicker, depending on how fast we go over different kind of tracks, and the adjustments we make sometimes gets better and get in a better direction.
And when it's all set up right, Michael's a real happy guy.
Yeah, I can see that when it goes good, he's got this good look on his face, and we're satisfied with what
Thanks for your time, Yugi.
No problem. Thank you.
Impressive machine. And speaking about motorcycles and that weekend at Mosport, we sat down with Ajax rider Stuart Nodell and had a conversation with him. Well, Stuart gets lined up amongst the rest of his competitors. Stuart Nodell, the number 18 Yamaha, and his dad Norm standing by waiting to head out onto the track. Oh, welcome to Mosport. Glad to have the bikes here. Do you get to run Mosport very much?
Twice a year.
Yeah?
Yeah, this is our second time for the season and the last time for the season.
What do you think of Mosport versus some of the other tracks you've run?
High speed and technical, where usually it's either just high speed or more technical. You get a variety of everything here.
How long have you been racing bikes?
Road racing I've been doing for 4 years now.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And started in what kind of a class?
The road racing I started in 50cc mini YSR road racing bikes, and then now I moved up to 600.
What kind of tracks do you actually get to run on? Because you travel in the States as well, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. We do most of our racing in the States, where we go to tracks like Daytona and Road America. We've been to Mid-Ohio. We race at Grattan in Michigan. Out in New Hampshire.
Why do you do most of your racing in the States? Is there just not enough of it here in Canada?
Yeah, just the racing seems to be much more enthusiastic-wise for people. They seem to enjoy it more, and just more people more involved in it, where here it's starting to get there, but it's already more established in the States, and that's where you want to be.
The thing I seem to find about the bike racing is it doesn't carry maybe as much popularity. For instance, the Trans Am race that's here at Mosport, you see a lot of spectators, but you don't seem to see the same crowds here in Canada. Is that the same in the States, or is it?
No, in the States you get a lot of people coming out to the races. The tracks, the grandstands are usually full.
Yeah.
For a race like at Daytona, I think they have about 80 to 100,000 fans in the weekend.
That's the Arai 200, is it?
That's right.
And you've run that one?
No, I went in the Super Sport race that runs just previous to the feature Superbike race.
So what's that place like, Daytona? I can't imagine running a bike at the high banks there.
Well, it's like being on a roller coaster riding upside down at about 160 miles an hour.
That's an interesting description, but
Yeah.
do you run the same track then that the cars run as far as the road course configuration, or do they add more to slow you guys up?
I think it's the same as the cars. We use the chicane in the back, where I don't know if the cars do or not, but otherwise it's the identical infield and out onto the east and west banking and through the tri-oval.
Obviously, expenses are high when you have to run in the States, but if you had your choice, would you stay here in Canada, or is there enough track variation for you?
No, I think I prefer to race in the States. That seems to be where all the big racing is, and that's like the next step to going to Europe to race like World Grand Prix.
What got you into the bike racing in the first place? It's kind of a crazy sport, isn't it?
I guess my dad, when I was young, they had me on dirt bikes, and I raced dirt bikes till I was about 16, and then decided we needed change, so tried road racing. We used to come a lot to watch when I was younger, but figured we'll give it a shot.
Must be pretty tough, though, trying to go up against some of the big teams.
Yeah, it is sometimes. Like, this is our first year racing professionally, so you have to start somewhere, but we think we're almost on the pace where we want to be, and we have a new bike, and we're just developing it now, so hopefully it'll turn around for us. That's right, yeah.
Have you always been on the Yamahas?
Since I've been road racing,
Is that right?
I raced one other brand, actually, motocross, was Suzuki, but always had a Yamaha.
Why? Is there a choice between Kawasaki, Yamaha, Honda? How does it work?
Well, yeah, you have the choice of whichever you want to run. And this year it just seemed, like the last few years, it just seemed that the right choice for us was the Yamaha. And we've been successful with it, so basically don't want to change what you're successful with.
So how do you go up against some of the big budget teams? You mentioned before that around here at Mosport with the highest speeds you're a little bit under horsepowered at this moment because you just got this bike set up.
Right. Yeah, well, we're just in the developing stages now of the bike, so we're going to take it one step at a time and do things properly rather than jump right into it and not be prepared. So just the riders got to get adapted to faster pace, and then the mechanics, they know what they're doing. So it's just more of the rider getting up to speed than the mechanics. We just have to do it in a step process.
What's your long-term goal then with the program?
Well, I guess to be the champion. Probably right now, just do one step at a time. I want to race in the States and do their top series and try and win it.
What about European racing?
Yeah, that would be more of a long-term goal, but right now I just want to keep things in perspective and do one goal at a time, kind of, rather than look at the whole big picture. I think it's a little bit easier to focus.
Is there a career span for riders versus car racers?
I'm not sure. Some guys can go into their early 40s or early 30s, I guess, as long as you don't get hurt too much throughout your career and you don't get sidelined. It's hard to say. Like, I don't see my time retiring anytime soon. But
Well, you're just a young guy.
That's right.
You wouldn't even want to think about that. But a lot of these guys seem to turn in their two wheels and pick up four. A couple of guys have gone on to some car racing.
Yeah.
Do you think about that at all, maybe?
I think I'd like to try once road racing was over with, but I've been to watch car races and whatnot, but I don't see the same excitement as riding on two wheels. Motorcycles is where I feel right now it's more fun. Where as long as I keep it fun, then that's what I want to keep doing.
How do you choose the classes that you're going to run?
Well, the 600 Super Sport, which this bike is made for, that's probably right now one of the most competitive classes in the world. This year, I think they just had their first season with a World Championship Series, and it seems to be competitive. And on a budget-wise, it's somewhat affordable. But just like anything, the more competitive you get, the more money it's going to cost.
Speaking about the money, then, is it tough getting sponsorship for bike racing?
Yeah, right now it is, because it's starting, I guess, right now where car racing was probably about 10 years ago. So we're a little bit behind, and the exposure is what really is going to bring the sponsors towards bike racing.
But if you've got to do all of your racing in the States to try and build yourself up into the championship levels of the pro racing in the States, it's probably pretty tough to attract a Canadian sponsor.
Yeah, basically what I guess you have to do is try and find a company that maybe deals in both the U.S. and Canada, being a Canadian rider and then being in the United States. It's harder to get an American company to give a Canadian rider the money it costs to go racing, or they would rather help their fellow compatriots.
You can understand that, I suppose. What about factories and how you get involved with being a factory rider?
Well, right now we have some support from Yamaha Canada, and they help us a little bit with the bike. But basically, it's Yamaha Sports Pickering who they do all the work on the bike and make sure it's kept up on two wheels okay for me.
So you get through Mosport, and where are you off to next?
Next weekend we're going to be in Groton, Michigan, and we won there a couple weeks ago, so hopefully we'll keep winning down there.
Wow, that's some good stuff. Give us a recap of your wins, your record. How do you sit so far?
Well, we've had one victory a few weeks ago, and for the new bike, I guess that was it was kind of nice. And we've had a couple of top 5 finishes, and back in March at Daytona we had a 14th, so things are looking up for us, and as long as that's the direction we keep going in, then we'll keep doing it.
Well, that's what I hear about you, Stuart. Things are looking up, a young up-and-coming rider, so just keep it going, huh?
Thanks very much, Claude.
Thank you.
Keep listening for that name, Stuart Nodell. On that Mosport weekend, they had some engine problems which made them miss that Michigan race he was talking about as well. Let's switch from 2 wheels to 4 and go to Tailgate Charlie's Speedway Thunder. Thunder car is out on the track for the first feature of the night. We've got a little bit of action coming through corner number 1. Dan Robinson trying to make his way up through the field. Vic Manette, he'll have a problem tonight as well. Robin McNevin running second there had a great night, and just ahead of him in the number 78, Sean Knapp. He's doing a pretty good job as well this night. A little bit of sideways action as Thunder cars tend to get once in a while, and including backwards. Field goes around, caution comes out, the cleanup crew goes to work. We go back to green flag action with Vic Manette getting a little bit loose out of corner number 4. Dan Robinson takes advantage and goes around the outside, but meanwhile, Vic Manette tries to come back on the inside and has no chance of that. Dan Robinson takes over that spot. Meanwhile, up front, the number 91 car, Robin McNevin, doing a great job, as I mentioned, but here comes Dan Robinson along the outside. There's one car missing here. You haven't seen it yet. The number 3 car, no, it's not out in front so far. You can't see it. Ken Donaldson missed the night's action. Here's Robin McNevin's family cheering him on. Come on, go get him, go get him. You're going to win this one. Side by side through corner number 2 as Dan Robinson has just a fender up alongside of Robin McNevin. But at the end, Robin McNevin slides out of corner number 4 and drag races for second with Terry Shaw.
I had to work really hard. The 91 car and the 32 car, the 32 car, he was starting to get a little bit loose. I could see it. And I knew if I just sort of got patient and stayed there, and he was staying right up with the 91, so just a matter of time. And then when I got by him, then it was the 91 car. And he really made me work. It was fun, though. It was a great time.
Robin, you had some bad news after Tech, but I don't care what anyone says. That was a drive worth congratulating you for.
That was a good drive tonight. I worked hard to get up there and stay there, and I was pushing Dan Robinson, but as you know, Dan's pretty hard to beat out here on this track.
Yeah.
And what can we say?
So tell us about what happened there.
Well, we ended up with one illegal rim on the car. There were supposed to be 2. They were bought as a matching set, and the one rim on the back is illegal, so they took my points for the night.
What was illegal about it?
The offset. It's only a 2 1/4 inch offset. So it's hard out here. Like, you beat up your equipment and then you come in and you do good and then you find out this stuff. So
That's a heartbreaker for sure, Robin, because we've seen you do so well this year. And like I said, I don't care what anybody says. You drove to second place. Congratulations.
thank you very much, Glenn.
All right.
Tough break for Robin. Now we move on to the modified action. And this was a real interesting night. We'll see at the end smiles for sure in Victory Lane. Not so much for these three. Alan Jones, number 83 again. He's looking the wrong way in corners 3 and 4. Back to some green flag action with the number 90 car leading the pack of cars with Jim Rossler trying around the outside, successfully getting by and continuing on his way. Mike Frederick, the number 22, along in tow there as well. Falling back, meanwhile, is the number 90 machine, John Houston, in that machine there. Jim Rossler is trying to mount a charge up towards the front of the pack now that he's broken through from that group. But it's not going to happen. Bob Moxon had a fantastic night tonight, finishing second. You'll see that crossing the line. Here he is along the outside of the number 25 car. And if that looks familiar, well, that's Leverdale's car from last year. Leonard Dorigo behind the wheel of the number 25. Now, Bob Moxon through corner number 4. Again, a great job. Here's the guy that had it all tonight, the number 13, Brett Osler. Everybody's happy about this one, including Mom, who comes over and gives Brett a big kiss and a hug. Congratulations all around. This is a job well done, and he's a happy guy.
Can we have another round of applause for Brett?
I'm thrilled to be here. It's unreal. I never thought it possible this early on.
Well, I don't think too many people figured you weren't happy about the way you were jumping on your car.
Yeah, that was, you got to do something special. And this first win, I'm so impressed, so happy with everything.
Yeah, it's a great job for a rookie driver. Congratulations. Let's try to get another one now. You got one under your belt. They always say after the first, the rest are easy.
I hope so. It's it'll be great to win a few more this year, but this has been an awesome rookie season. That's easy to say.
All right, well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, we pick up the street stock action now. We've got Scott Douglas to the inside on the pole, and alongside is the number 29 of Craig Chen, as Scott Douglas will lead the field into corner number 1. And again, the street stock feature through corner number 1. Scott Douglas through 4 now, maintaining the lead, but coming through the field. Week after week, this guy's been strong on the inside. Derek Henderson, the number 71, passes Owen Smith, taking over that spot as we go side by side on the front straight now, and it's still the 71 to the inside back of Scott Douglas now as Derek Henderson goes by on the inside of Scott Douglas. 71 car out front now. Derek Henderson will come along and take another feature tonight. Incredible drive for Derek Henderson, as that's about 4 in a row. Finishing second tonight, not enough to catch him. Andy Warbutton, a great night for Glenn Fricker as he comes up through the field after a disappointing season with 2 blown engines, but Glenn Fricker will manage to come home with a 3rd place tonight. Problems, however, for some of the other competitors. Steve Knabb getting a tow back to the pits. Derek Henderson once again out front, and Andy Warbutton trying to press him as hard as he can, but as I mentioned, it's not going to happen tonight. Derek Henderson takes another feature win.
Please come back and join us 2 weeks from tonight as Derek Henderson will try to win once again. Derek in the carriage, auto body and collision sponsor 71.
It was really close. When we had that restart, I thought, Andy's got a lot more experience than I do. I really better be watching the mirror and in front of me to make sure he doesn't get me. That was a really good night. Second race out tonight, we had a little bad luck there. I got tangled up with Claude and I put it back. Feature time, we had a little good luck, and I didn't even see you at the beginning of the race to say, see you right after.
Congratulations to everybody. Now we've got the Molson Indy coming up, and the players' drivers were at a conference, and we joined them.
You've had a long association, of course, running some of the series that players sponsor, and now you wear their colors.
It's a real treat for me this year to be part of the players' organization. For many years, I kind of envied the guys in the blue and white suits or the blue and white cars, and so now I'm driving them or wearing the suit, and I see the opportunity that they had. The whole organization is so professional, and as a driver, you really have every tool that you need to have success, and I think it shows.
On a track like Toronto versus the Atlantic car, what do you expect?
I think we have a great street course car with the Players Indy Lights car, and I'm expecting good things. I'm really, really motivated for this weekend in Toronto. Coming off a bad weekend in Cleveland, and for some reason it's just really got me pumped up. And I like racing at home. I like obviously staying at home and not in a hotel. And to have friends, family, and all the Toronto fans behind me, it really motivates me.
Just make sure you set the alarm clock because you won't have a wake-up call to get you going in the morning.
This is true. I think we'll be all right.
All the best to you.
Thanks.
Now, last year we were rooting you on to the podium because of the genuine kind of guy you are, and here you are leading the points this year.
Yeah, it's going very well this season. We have a great season, a lot more testing, more budget. Also, we can buy better parts for the cars, trick parts actually, and the car is going very well, so we're having a great season this year.
It's a tough battle though, 15 points ahead of Lee really isn't saying that you've got it locked up, is it?
No, no, it's far from locked up. Lee is a very quick driver. Also, Joey Schroeder from the U.S., my teammate, is also really quick, Case Montgomery. It's a very tight battle in the Atlantic Championship, especially the first place is 20 points, and if you get a pole position, it's 21 points. So if he wins and I don't finish, we got to start all over again. And it's really hard to build up a point lead because from first to second is only 4 points, so it takes a long time. The last 5 years, the championship has been won only by 5 points, so it's going to be very hard all the way through the season.
And that's why Alex and Lee are off testing today.
Yeah, are they?
They got to try to catch up to you yet, and they're going to try to do it in Toronto. But all the players, drivers, we wish them all the best, including yourself, and congratulations so far as being the points leader.
All right, thank you very much.
You've been on a charge lately, and it's a good thing too because your season's just been another one of those that started off not the way you wanted it to.
Yeah, it's been a tough start. I mean, we were doing good there for a while, and we had a couple of engines breaking while leading races twice in a row. So that set us back in the championship. But we've been coming back lately, and I think we're at the point now we're ready to charge for a win.
Yeah, including Toronto, though. I think that's just 4 races remaining. So what's your focus now for these last 4 races?
Well, podiums for all races. Hopefully some wins, and I'd like a top 3 finish in the championship.
Okay, well, all the best in Toronto then.
Thank you.
A year ago at this conference, I asked you to speculate, would you be in an IndyCar next year? And you danced around the question. Here you are.
Here I am, and it's been a pretty good season so far. And I came in this year thinking I wanted 3 goals. One was to be Rookie of the Year, one was to win a race, and one was to finish in the top 10 of the championship. And so far we're maintaining 2 of those goals. We just got to get the win now, and hopefully we can do it here in the Molson Indy.
Zanardi's coming up quick. The gap's only 5 points now.
He is. He's, I think the win that he had in Portland really helped him out, but he had some bad luck at the beginning of the season, and now it's starting to change around for him, and hopefully mine has changed around now. I finished 3rd in Cleveland, and, I think that we can possibly get a win here for the Players team.
Says something about yourself and rookies this year, because not since '83 did they have 2 podiums or 2 drivers share the podium that were rookies.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and I just think that right now the Players Forsyth team is really giving me motivation to try and win, because they didn't win a race last year with the Forsyth team when Teo Fabi drove, and Jacques won a couple of races, and they really want to win. They want to win quite badly, but probably not as badly as I do, because that's my job. I'm paid to go win car races, and I'm a very competitive person. I want to win, and as far as the Toronto race goes, I think we got a good chance because, like you said, you talked to me last year at this time, and I said I was going to try and win the race, and thought I had a good chance, and I think I got a good chance. I'm going to try and win it.
Well, you're going to be sharing the fan support with a couple of Toronto guys and Scott making his return, but nonetheless, people here think a lot about you, so all the best in Toronto.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
From the Players Racing Team Conference, we move to Nathan Phillips Square and Kenny Wilden talking with some of the fans during the Indy Fest festivities. Here are the Players drivers sharing the stage with the driver making his return, Scott Goodyear.
Wonderful time down here at Nathan Phillips Square, the whole family with you.
Yeah, it's nice to come back to Toronto. It's nice to get back and see the fans and come back and visit family, and especially nice to get back in the car since our accident in March at Rio de Janeiro. So it's a big weekend, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, most importantly, I think it's really nice for the fans and for yourself to be back in behind the wheel. We're going to be watching for you.
Yes, especially, and Toronto's always a big race in the schedule for us. I think it's a favorite race for a lot of the competitors because the track is very competitive, and we look forward to a good run this weekend. The two Canadian events we always enjoy here in Vancouver, so we expect a great weekend.
Making it Toronto your debut to come back, is that more pressure, or do you like this?
Well, it's fine. We could have went back at Cleveland last week, but we didn't get a chance to drive the car. We had one day of testing just before we came here because we had a bit of an engine problem, so it halted our testing program short. But overall, with Cleveland or here, we missed so many races so far, it didn't really matter. So we chose Toronto and come back and enjoy it and come and meet the people and the fans, so we enjoy that too.
Well, seeing the fact that you've been hanging on to Christopher for most of this day, obviously your back's in 100%, so we're glad to have you back. All the best.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. All right. Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Scott.
Looking forward to having Scott back behind the wheel, and we'll all cheer you on, Scott. And that's all we have time for, so once again, thank you very much for tuning in to Pit Stop. Don't forget our response line, 905-436-3500. You can call us anytime and leave a message. And starting July 20th, Tailgate Charlie's Speedway Thunder is up and running till the end of the season. We'll be there at Mosport International Speedway. Once again, we'll see you next week with our Molson Indy Wrap-Up.